Is there anything more discouraging than seeing the Lord provide a bountiful crop and yet have no harvesters to harvest such a crop? That's exactly the same situation in Uganda. Over 80% of Uganda's population profess to be Christians. They are zealous to follow Christ. Yet 70% of her pastors have not had any theological training.
I've been in ministry for 11 years, but I've never had a serious Bible school training. And it's not fair because I've been teaching without borders, without tying the loose ends correctly to put things in perspective.
7 years ago, I prayed that God might provide relief to our people. And from this prayer came the Pastors Discipleship Network. We have traveled across this country, teaching in tents, in churches, hotels, schools, in any place where pastors are willing to listen. We have faced persecution from Muslim property owners who charge the ministry more than they're charging anyone else to try to stop our efforts. Despite this persecution, by God's hand, 4,000 pastors have been trained. And today over 25,000 Christians are now worshiping in truth.
We get involved in this training. We change so much. The way we have been doing things, the way we have been serving in our churches.
Yet my heart still breaks because over 60,000 pastors are still serving without any training. There was a lot of African shouting and celebration at the Pastors Discipleship Network earlier this year when we partnered with Lancaster Bible College and Capital Seminary in the effort to train and equip pastors in Africa. This joy brought us to a place where we had to consider again the issue of space, because so many pastors were eager to come for this training, but we have a limited capacity in space. I cannot tell you how upsetting it is to turn away pastors who've come to learn the true gospel simply because we have no room. Jesus said in Matthew 9 and verses 37 that the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. This accurately describes my home, Uganda. My prayer is every Christian with a knowledgeable and informed pastor. For the sake of the gospel, we need bold action. We need a miracle that will change the course of history by producing more workers for the kingdom in response to God's gracious mandate. God has laid upon my heart a vision for this miracle. Imagine, if you will, with me, an oasis in the great city of Kampala, surrounded by witchcraft, followers of Islam, and every kind of paganism. This oasis would be a place where pastors would come for theological training, where those that are responsible for delivering the gospel would come to be equipped, where pastors who are exhausted and burnt out from persecution would come to be bathed in the gospel. This oasis could start a ripple that could not only change Kampala, but all of Uganda. And even more, it would change all of Africa and the world. We are so close to seeing this oasis become a miraculous reality. You are looking at the future site of our training center. 5 acres of property on which this training center will be built, that people will be prepared for God's harvest. On this piece of property, we plan to construct 3 very important structures. The first one is the training center for pastors. The second one is a classroom block. And the third one is very simple housing for visiting faculty who've come from abroad. One of the things I'm really excited about our training center is because it will have multimedia capability. There are professors and pastors in the United States and many other places that are very gifted and are wanting to pour into our pastors, but they don't have the time to fly all the way to Africa. Yet they are willing to give us many of their hours to stream live into our training center. This is why this capability is going to allow us to reach more pastors with high quality education. This is why we as PDN are excited about the Daraja project. This project will see us create the exact space that we need for these pastors to be trained. I love miracles, but I'm also scared by them, because a miracle requires me to believe that God will do the impossible. We need to raise $1 million for this vision to become a reality. I cannot do it. I need God to work a miracle through His people to see this vision become a reality. I am very excited to tell you that already God has provided a big portion of what we need. A family has offered us a matching grant of up to $200,000. Would you help us take full advantage of this matching grant? Would you prayerfully consider whether you are called to join our efforts in training workers for the harvest? Would you want to be part of a miracle in Africa and beyond?